the shooter, shooting shit the right way.
They didn't want me up, but I got up and nashed up. They didn't want to see me win, but I won and now they fuck. They hate and envy me, but I'm at that shit like what's up. I don't want no smoke, but I still keep it tucked. Yeah, they didn't want me up, but I got up and nashed up. They didn't want to see me win.
Let's get this party started, man. You know what's going on. It's your boy 3400 King, man. This is season 3 of Kickin' It with King, episode 2. Man, tell them who you are. Tell them who we got here, man. Tell them about yourself. Give them a little insight about yourself.
Hey everybody, so my name is Jonáe Domeneke. I'm 27 years old and I am an entrepreneur. And I'm just here to kind of go into detail about a few businesses I have today. My first business I've ever started in the beginning it was called Neeks Meeks Boutique, so there's a lot of that on my page, but I have recently changed the name to NAE Cosmetics, so Nae Cosmetics, for Jonáe. And then I am also a psychic medium and intuitive tarot reader, and basically with that I help people more understand themselves and their situation to make the best decision to either get themselves out of that situation into a better area of their life or a better mental process to deal with what's going on within them.
Cool beans. So where are you from?
So I am from Iowa Park, Texas. It's 15 minutes away from Wichita Falls, Texas. Kind of small town. It's a little bit bigger now than it was, but it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. And that's where you was born and raised?
Yes.
Okay, and that's where you currently still reside?
I actually just live in Wichita Falls right now.
Okay.
So I moved out of town, but
15 minutes away out of town, right? I feel there's nothing wrong with that. So how was life growing up in, you said Iowa Park?
Iowa Park, yes.
Iowa Park,
Texas.
How was it growing up in Iowa Park, Texas?
So, typically growing up in Iowa Park, it was a little bit of a struggle just because of my ethnicity, which is a little unfortunate. It's gotten better over time, I believe. I wouldn't know because I don't go to school there now, but I just think that it would have been a little bit better if I didn't have the conflicts I did, but I handled it with grace, and I forgive anybody who ever was racist towards me or anything like that, but I did have quite a bit of that go on every once in a while, but academically it's a really good school.
Okay. What is your ethnicity or race?
So I am actually mixed Caucasian and African American.
Okay.
And I don't know like any small details. I just know kind of European, etc. I don't have like a 23andMe or anything, but I'd love to know.
Right. She said 23andMe. No. So was the racism, was it bad, or just here and there certain people?
I mean, it'd be somewhat of the same people that contributed to it. I always put people in their place. I was never shy to call out the ignorance of it. So people were a tad bit intimidated by me growing up. But, that's just who I was as a person. And I didn't very openly, explain or be around people like that for them to know how intelligent I was. So they always shut their mouth after I had a little piece being said.
So was it like people your age, or was it older people? Was it white people, black people?
It was my classmates.
Your classmates.
Mostly, just really my classmates. In general, maybe I'd be in a class with them. I don't remember what that movie is called. Where the lady, she feeds her a shit pie.
Oh yeah, I know.
I cannot remember what that movie's called.
I don't know what it's called either, but I know the movie.
Yeah, so they had built the outdoor restrooms for their maids because they had said some illness was spreading because of black people. And so, I mean, you know, I'm raising my hand in the movie and asked to go to use the restroom, and one of my classmates had just, you know, told me that I needed to go outside. And I just looked and was like, you know, if that's how you're going to be towards me about this situation, we're actually learning, you know, about, because I mean, in all honesty, black people have literally built things through history, okay? So it's not like it was just this intellectual level that was a difference. It was just based off of the rights.
Right.
Because a lot of Caucasian people over time have learned from African Americans, and that's how they implemented a bunch of decisions regardless who was a slave and who wasn't. People are people. People become friends with other people regardless of what's popular. Like, I have read a book about George Washington. It's called something fire. I cannot remember, but I've read it, and it's a really good book. So if you do like a good read on history, or George Washington, I mean, he's a pretty interesting man. I totally recommend that book. I cannot think about it, but back then, you know what I'm saying? It was like having a new car, and that was just their concept of it. They didn't, yes, they did not look at African Americans as people, you know what I'm saying? They looked at them as a commodity. Right. But at the same time, like, in a way, with the thought process of it, and I like hate to say this, but at the same time, like, they've always known what we brought to the table. Right. They've always known.
They know who we are and what we capable of. Stop playing.
Exactly. Been knowing. So it's to use us for subservience to get them where they want to be. It's not necessarily oh, I'm better. It's manipulation. You know, it's abuse and manipulation openly, and it was okay, you know, and people wonder why these generational curses are going down, and it's because of our ancestral DNA in the blood and what we've been through and what's been taught throughout the ages, regardless of the technologies we've gained and the knowledge we've gained, you know, so. Right.
So you didn't have no problem from your peers or older people? It was always just like classmates or people your age?
So as you say that, I recall, I mean, I was walking with my grandmother at one point in time, and this man did approach her. I think I was about like 3 years old, so I'm not consciously aware of this happening. I just remember that she had told me this man came up and told her to teach me to walk with my head down for the rest of my life because of who I was. And, you know, to think and like process the thought of a grown man, like taking the time out of his day to come towards a child to express their hatred towards them was something I was more accustomed to. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with my family, they loved me for me, but they would still make comments because that was something that they were used to, or would like assume that, you know, that was a quality about me without even knowing me, you know. But even that, like, I didn't just get the racism from the white side. I got racism from my black side too. So, you know, I've dealt with that for a while, and it's just understanding that some people are ignorant. And I mean, that's just is what it is.
People are ignorant.
I mean, it's not like you're ignorant in every way in your life. You know, but that's one thing that you're ignorant on, you know? So, because I've dealt with people and say that they're ignorant of a situation, and they think I've just straight up just called them stupid. And I'm like, no, you just are uneducated on this matter. And I think if you had a more open perspective, you wouldn't be so judgmental about it, you know, because I mean, especially with the election and stuff going on, this has kind of been a big topic too, which I mostly, for the most part, stay out of it, but I can voice my experience.
You can't voice your experience, and everybody, to me, I don't care what nobody say or how nobody feel. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. You know what I'm saying? Whether you agree or disagree, that's their personal opinion. It's not the end of the world.
It's just their perception.
That's just their perception and their perspective on something that you look at totally different. You know what I'm saying?
And it's just based off of everything you've been through in life, you know,
Exactly.
whether it's subconsciously or consciously. And I feel like once people start to understand that more, they could reconcile some differences and just understand and leave who they are where they're at. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Now, to be clear, where are you mixed at? Like your father and mother? Or
so my mother is Caucasian and my father's African American.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So when did you get up out of Iowa Park, Texas?
So I was living with my grandparents whenever I graduated, and I was a CNA for a while, so I stayed with them.
You look like a CNA real time.
Yeah, I was a CNA for 6 years, and whew, I mean, I was cold at it. I was cold at it, but this is own territory. Any of those, shout out to you CNAs out there still doing it, because once I started my business, I said I was never going back.
Never going back.
I'm a grind, so I never have to go back because.
I feel that. So you didn't go to any type of school after high school, no college, nothing like that, trade school? You had to go to trade school to be a CNA, right?
Yeah,
okay.
I did that. I had actually went to college for like 3 semesters just towards getting, I want to be a forensic pathologist eventually, and I had started on that, but I was very young and I was partying and I didn't give a shit. I didn't have to study in high school. I have photographic memory, so I could just look at the answers and remember the answers from the slideshows in school that we looked. So I do my homework right before we got into class real quick and just turn it in. And I was on AAAB honor roll, so when I got to college, you know, doing my homework and studying, you got to do that. So
you have to.
And so to redeem myself, I went back to get my CNA, and I was first in my class and got 100.
Dope.
Yeah. Dope. I redeemed myself.
So you did well in elementary school, middle school, high school. You did well academically there.
Yes.
Okay. How were you in school socially?
Cause
I'm sure everybody wasn't racist. Everybody was.
No. I mean, no one even considered me different. I guess I was there to change the mindset of people because they could see me living as a person and understand that I'm not different than them. I had many friends. I have many close friends. I'd be friends with them for years. I had friends that would fight over me. So I just, I've always had friends and laughed all night with him and just had the time of our lives. Like, I know any of, especially a friend I had from kindergarten, she had told me that, I had tagged her in something, and I was like, I always remember my first best friend, and she was like, man, many years I had experienced joy with you, and it was just amazing.
Right,
and
dope.
it touched me because I always have a place for her in my heart too, because we were friends since kindergarten. So
Sheesh.
yeah, so
yeah, y'all go back.
yeah, everyone typically in my class, we grew up together.
Okay.
Yeah.
All the way from pre-K 3 to high school, pretty much.
Yeah, I didn't go to pre-K. They said that I was too intelligent to go into pre-K.
Not you too smart for pre-K.
Yeah, they did. So they made me wait until kindergarten. They let me start early, so they let me, slide up in there because who's trying to go? I would hate to go to 12 more years of school. I mean, I want my forensic pathologist, stuff, but to more coincides with my purpose of my mediumship and stuff like that. Like, feel like I can solve some cold click cases
Right.
here, you know, being able to be
We can figure
that
this out.
telephone
Nah,
in
for
between.
real.
Yeah, and I mean, so that's like another thing too. So when I was younger, I mean, I have seen ghosts since I was like really young, but I wasn't able to communicate fully. I was ignorant, and then like throughout life, I was not paying attention to my spirituality. So more as I've worked on myself, I've more unlocked my gifts, and I've become older and more wiser, and you know, been more developed in the world.
That's
so
important. But hold on before you get to that, because I do want to talk about this medium stuff. But before we get to that, like, was you with your grandmother, or was you with your mother, or was your
with
mother
my
and father
grandmother.
together?
I was with my grandmother. So
Okay.
my dad was 16, and I believe my mom was 18 when she got pregnant with me.
Okay.
So of course my father was not in the picture.
Okay.
I didn't meet him until I was 14 years old.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then my mom, she just kind of was doing her own thing, I guess. But my grandmother had me for a while. They kind of fought over me for a little bit, and
So-
eventually my grandmother took her to court and gained
So
custody.
Granny was fighting over you for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely. So
Okay.
my nana is my mama, but
Okay.
she's my nana. You know,
Okay.
I never called her mama because my mom, it has been in my life
Right.
very few, more as an adult. She had been in my life. My dad was for a while, but there's a lot of toxicity on that side. And, you know, after you go growing up without your parents, you know, you kind of want to have some sort of connection with them, you know,
Right.
and honestly, I feel like, yeah, maybe they were not the people for me to be involved with for, you know, my life and just what I've accomplished and where I'm going. But essentially, I did learn more about myself by, you know, just establishing the connection and having the conversations that I do with them. But currently, I don't speak to either one of them.
Okay, was mom trying and like Granny just wasn't going for the lifestyle she was living? That's why she was fighting for you?
Personally, I don't know what my mother
remember?
was doing,
Okay.
but she was in and out of my life a lot, and it made me more emotional about her than my father per se, because he just was not there.
Period.
You know, so I mean, he more so I came around because I think that there was, I don't know if he was changing his life or something. He had got out of prison. I don't necessarily know why he had reached out to me. But over the time I had known him, because my mother has other children too,
Okay.
by other men, not him. Like I have twin brother and sister, and they have the same father. But everyone else, we all have different fathers. And then on my dad's side, we all have different mothers. So I'm the oldest of 13 children.
Okay.
Combined of all
13?
Yes.
It sounds like she living back in the day, boy. Say.
Hey, they be doing it like that nowadays. Them old people just don't pay attention because it's
you
still
right.
going on.
It's going on. You right. I don't know about 13 though. Nah, you right. It's more than 13. People like Fusion, YB, but them celebrities. But it's I know somebody.
Some of the celebrities have a lot of kids
Man,
too.
that shit is wild to me. Like, you got so many kids, you can't even name them all. I got a partner that got a lot of kids. And he was like, I'm forgetting one. I was like, that. I was like, bro, if you gotta say I'm forgetting one, you got too many damn kids, boy.
Man. Yeah, I know.
So growing up without your father, it really didn't affect you? You didn't feel like you was missing anything?
I think it more affected me in my relationships and what I accepted from men, just because I didn't have a perspective on respecting that. I mean, yes, my grandmother was married to my grandfather, but he's, you know, a boomer. He's, you know what I'm saying? Like, straight to the point, not very emotional, you know.
Yeah,
so it's not like they were necessarily toxic. They just weren't
They don't know how to show love.
Yeah.
My grandmother right now, if I say I love you, she'll say okay. But I know she love me. You know what I'm saying?
My Nana, she won't always say I love you back, but she does. And I mean, sometimes I'll call her out for it. But I mean, like on my white side, they just don't give hugs and stuff like that. They don't do that more affectionate thing. And then it was more like that on my black side, but they just seem to like hate us. Not all of them, but a lot of them. A lot of them. And it was weird to me to not even know them and like go through the things that I went through just in the short, like I think I knew them or was around them for 6 to 8 years. And it was just very, they drank a lot. And we used to go have fun and party with them, you know what I'm saying? But then once you got closer to them, they would start like lashing out or saying negative things to us, like
the real will start coming out.
Yeah, and it was
That's
weird. It was weird because I never experienced that before. I was predominantly on my, Caucasian side. So them, not really expressing things to going towards people like fighting each other and knocking each other out, and you know what I'm saying? Like we, of course, didn't say shit. We found a safe place to get the fuck out of there. You know what I'm saying, man? So like now, like I don't really think any of us visit my father besides one of my brothers.
For real?
Yeah, because I mean, it doesn't matter how much you accomplish. They're gonna find a lie. They're gonna say you're lying. They
don't look for a reason.
Yeah, they don't want to give you the clout for whatever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I have a nonprofit that's called Madeline's Grace. It's named after one of my little sisters that passed away at birth. And I mean, one year I had given grace baskets. I provided clothes and necessity for 26 kids. And I got donated like $600 from the community, but I spent about $5,000 myself because I bought all the soap and shampoo and body wash, and I mean, you know what I'm saying, the toothbrushes and toothpaste and all these things
you
that
really
they
handle
need.
business and
I
took
went
care
ham, okay? And
that's love, that's dope.
I just felt led to because I had the money to do it. And so I wrapped them. I did it for Christmas, so I wrapped them up and I didn't put my name on it. So the kids who actually needed something instead of like a toy or anything like that, they were actually getting something that they could use to be warm during the winter because, people,
real. Fuck a toy or some bullshit.
Yeah.
Real.
And I mean, it was 6 families because some of them had more than one child. But I mean, hey, to this day, they know it's real. You know what I'm saying? They know it's real. And so it's like, it's crazy too because, nowadays they'll be like, oh, people document things, but not everybody's documenting things to like brag in your face.
Right.
The people document things to show and see who else wants to help too, so they can help the cause,
Exactly.
So it's just about your perception and the way that you look, because I mean, I went live, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get people to help me out because I got a mission to do, and I felt led in the direction to ask for help, you know? And that's like a humbling experience to even ask other people for help, because I had to have the trust of others for them to trust and know that I was going to spend that money on these children. Right. So I documented every receipt, you know what I'm saying, and
show
posted
y'all
on
this
the
wasn't
page.
for me.
You know what I'm saying?
This is not for me. This is for the kids. That's real.
It was beautiful though, and just the reactions of people, and I mean, some of them just let their kids go ahead and open it because, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they were like, we need this stuff. And I mean, even some of the shampoo and conditioner, like, even if the kids have their own stuff, now mama got something, you know what I'm saying, that she might have been going without. So
because it's about the whole family, not just the kids. You know what I'm saying? Them parents be going through trying to make sure the kids have. You know what I'm saying? So imagine what the parents don't have, trying to make sure that these kids have.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that's deep. But let's go back to the childhood though. Like, and when did you start seeing First of all,
Oh yeah, you're gonna bring up my singing.
I wasn't gonna bring it up yet.
Okay,
See,
okay.
but I'm glad you said it, so we know you said it. But I was gonna bring up you seeing these spirits, and when did you realize what it was versus what did you think it was at first? Did you think this was normal life, a real person? Everybody goes through this. Everybody see this, or did you know you were special? I'm special. This special. This different.
So initially, I was terrified.
Okay.
Because I didn't know what I was looking at. So the first apparition I've ever seen was my great-grandfather.
Pause. Explain to the people that might, I know, but explain to the people that might not know what an apparition is, please.
So an apparition would be like a ghost or a shadow that you see within your physical eyes, or maybe through a recording. Any orb, something like that would be considered an apparition. So essentially what I can explain, I can't remember necessarily how old I was. I think I was 2 or 3, because that's back when I can consciously remember that I don't remember how old I was. That's kind of how I look back on how far is I remember when I started knowing how old I was.
Okay.
Which is a good exercise for anybody, honestly, if you're trying to crack back that far. Okay, but anyways, I would be with my great grandma consistently. And I started to stay the night with her because I was, getting a little older, feeling a little bit more independent. And I loved her, so I had to stay the night over there. I stayed the night one night, and it was cool. She got a water bed. We cooling it. You know what I'm saying? We chilling. And then I had went to stay the night again, and I was asleep. And mind you, my grandfather built the house that my granny was living in when she was alive. And so, I mean, you know what I'm saying? He put his heart and soul into that. They had bought land at 16 and built their house on that land in Owl Park. So I was sleeping, and I had woke up, and I looked over, and I saw him from here up in like a fog, basically. That he was the color of a fog, but he was glowing like I could see him in pitch black. And now, at the moment, I did not know who that was. I didn't know what he looked like. I didn't know at all what my grandfather looked like.
Never met him.
So I did not ever want to go back over there, and was always scared to go back over there. And my grandparents are like, oh, like, why is she scared? I'm freaking scared because what the hell was that? You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know how to explain that. I didn't know. It just is something that I vividly remember. And then later on, when I was in junior high, my family had made memorial plaques for him. And that's when I actually saw a picture of him and knew who he was. And so that's when I put 2 and 2 together and was like, oh, I was watching my grandfather watch my granny sleep, which is honestly like a really beautiful thing.
Beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Scary the way you came across it, but yeah.
Yeah. And even like, so my family, they would go to my granny's for Christmas. Well, she has a shop out there because they had race cars. And, my uncle's birthday, we were having his birthday party, and sorry, this is a little like crazy, but his father hung himself in that shop.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, they had said that he cried wolf many times before, and they think that he accidentally killed himself. But there is definitely a angry, like there's some parts of that house that I'm terrified of because of the energy connected to it. And so, I mean, you know, one time we were singing happy birthday and the lights started flickering back and forth like crazy. And I'm like, and like, mind you, we know where he hung himself in there, like the area, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, my grandmother was just tied to a toxic person, you know, and that's kind of how it reacted, because at the time it was my grandparents' house. They were living there and they had no idea he was there. They just walked into him out there.
So everybody seen the lights flickering and all that stuff.
Yes.
But what you experienced as a little girl, did you tell somebody that, and what did they say when you told them that about seeing your grandfather watching your grandmother?
So I never told anyone because I didn't know what was going on.
You never told nobody?
No. And
oh wow.
So next door to my grandmother's house, my family kind of owns like a plot, like a block in our park. And so we were, and this is like junior high, okay? So we're living in a house, and I mean, there's many times I've experienced paranormal stuff throughout my life that is terrifying, but you just gotta learn to like navigate it, because there's, as I've grown and learned and studied, that there's very different aspects of the 5D and what specifically is going on, you know what I'm saying, and what actual being you're dealing with, because there are demons, there are angels, there are lost souls, there's many different aspects. We just can't see them, and
right.
There's people who can. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
So, and I'm not saying like, I always think this because people have gifts, but at the same time, if you're not tapped into your gifts, then you're not going to fully flow and be, you know, even telepathically people communicate and stuff. We do that, right. You know, especially when we're connected to someone. So like, when you're shut down to a bunch of things, you can't access your gifts, or even your natural gifts like singing or dancing and stuff like that. If you're not practicing and focusing on perfecting that, then, you know, or you want to deny that it's real, it's not real, you know?
At what age did you start embracing your gifts?
More around the time that, because I was scared majority of my life of everything that was going on, because I couldn't understand it. I had dove into spirituality, but there wasn't much back then on, you know, people expressing that they're seeing things like this, because initially I was kind of the black sheep of my family. So I was not going to be open to them about that, because I mean, along with that, they tried to say I was crazy, you know what I'm saying? Trying to put me on medication and stuff that I didn't need. I just didn't have any understanding, you know? So going along with that, and whatever illnesses my family's been diagnosed with in the past, you know, you got to fight against these generational curses. And it's just something to where, like, I've been open with my Nana about things more now than I ever have, because she's always been my rock and understanding. I've always been honest to her about what's going on. So, I mean, really when I got my first, it was before I had gotten my first set of tarot cards. I had left my ex before we were married, and I just was in hermit mode. I was kind of like in isolation, because I had gotten to a wreck. And it's crazy because on the outside it looks like this big crazy thing, but it was actually a spiritual awakening that I was going through, and these things were happening to put me in a position to focus more on my inner self and my health, you know? So that's when my mother had gifted me a pair of tarot cards. And not only that, I did have weird paranormal things going on in that apartment that I was living in at the time. So that's when I started being more open about it, because I was scared, and my mom was kind of there with me to go through it, and she was educated on some things because she's gifted too, but she's more of a jealous spirit. So you know, she could do things, but
so mom kind of enlightened you, low key.
Yeah, I mean, not even low key, like straight up sabotaging my life. I just loved her and couldn't see it.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, no hate against her. It's just my life, and I'm not scared to tell my story anymore because they know the truth. They know the truth about their decisions and how they decided to treat me, and maybe others might have wanted to forgive them or whatever and still be in their life. But I forgive you, but I'm not going to be in your life anymore because you're taking up time in my mind and mental space that I could be focusing on myself and developing myself as a person.
Facts. We gotta always take care of self. Like, I tell people all the time, people be thinking I be crazy. Say, make sure you good. And they be like, nah, I gotta make sure you good. Cause if you ain't good, you can't make sure nobody else good, for real. You gotta take care of yourself.
I mean, a lot of people really do be making sure they good because they're selfish and they still ain't got nothing for nobody else.
She preaching, but I ain't even want to get that deep or even take it that route. I'm trying to be nice today, but I feel you on that, you know what I'm saying? Because people be,
just a little side comment, you
that's
know?
deep, because people think selfish is like, people only associate selfish with money or materialistic things. But you can be emotionally selfish, you can be physically selfish, you can be, man, selfish is deep. That word, say, you opened up Ken
Selfish
Burns,
means a lot of things.
Yeah, but I don't even want to go there real talk right now. You feel me?
Just had to stay my little stay, you know.
But how did you coming into this spiritual awakening, coming to you being a medium and doing this as a business?
So I've done tarot readings for about 3 years now, and learning the deck does take a while, just to be able to portray the message. At first, I would just have ideas pop into my head that I was supposed to say this, or, you know, just creativity strictly, you know. Really, learning the cards didn't mean much of anything until I had educated myself on angel numbers. I had always seen 44 my whole life, to the point that I was scared that I was going to die at 44 years old.
That's what you just made it mean to you.
Yeah, and I was terrified for many years because of my perception, right?
Right.
So living in fear, you're like, what is going on? And so now with my research, I've learned that, you know, 44 usually means Archangel Michael is around, and he's actually like the head angel. Okay, he's a big guy. He be making things happen. All right, and he was just there guiding me and protecting me through my life because I have a big purpose. So now that I can look back and be like, man, you know, I'm really divinely protected, and everything that I went through was to develop me into this beautiful woman I am today,
right.
This intellectual. I wouldn't take it back for a moment, and I just embrace the decisions I made because now I know better.
And when you know better, you do better.
Well, some people know better and they choose wrong, but that's another conversation.
That's another story for another day, huh?
Little segments on the side, little bloopers.
She said, what made you get out of the medical field of being a CNA and jump into having a boutique and all the other fields you're in? All of the
I know. Like, I can go on forever about all the creative ideas I've actually went through with. Okay. I feel like that's how you establish your credibility through life, is doing the things that, you know, you were just thought of. Just do it sometimes, you know. But so COVID, that is why I quit being a CNA, because I I have asthma. So I was iffy about it. I'm like, I don't want to die. I'm young. You know what I'm saying? These old people are going to get COVID first. They already are. They're fucking locking this shit down. Okay?
Hold on. You was one of them people when COVID came around, like, I'm not trying to die. You was scared?
I was terrified because I knew
God.
these people were going to have it. And they were dying left and right.
People was dying for real.
Yeah, and that's another thing, too. I've worked in nursing homes. So I've had paranormal encounters in nursing homes, too. And I mean, for real, they do be staying in their spirit tries to leave. You know what I'm saying? Out that room. Because I was going and cleaning out this guy's room. He just had passed away. And his family had quickly went there, was gathering his belongings. And then all of a sudden the lights start turning on and off. And I'm like, hold up.
What you do?
Oh, no, it wasn't the lights. It was his call light. The little button to call the room.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, nah, that doesn't sound right. It was the call light, right? So I went and turned it off. Went back and was helping the family. It came back on and the family was like, oh my gosh, like, that's incredible. And I was like, yeah, he must still be in here and letting y'all know that he's here. I was like, that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? Just to be able to say goodbye one last time, because when it comes to the spiritual aspect of passing, the way that you pass has a lot to do with how you are going to move forward. So people do lie dormant. People do immediately cross over. It just depends on the intelligence of you and your soul and what you gain through that life, okay? Because, you know, like children, they're very adolescent, you know, they're not. So a lot of children will be stuck and not able to cross over because they have that innocence. So it's very important for people who are psychic mediums to come out to help these other souls find their purpose, because there's more beyond, you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because I think about it right now and I'm like, you know, all these lost souls, but people are in their purpose. And it's not, these mediums cannot connect with every soul in person. It doesn't work like that. It depends on the vibration of them and what their gifts are. And because every spirit doesn't communicate the same way, you know, so it's way more in detail. And that's why it's kind of a hard concept for people to understand, because you have to study it. You have to have a desire to study to understand others. So, I mean, because I used to watch the lady in Florida or whatever, Miami medium, whatever. I used to watch her and think she was full of shit, and here I am today. You know what I'm saying?
You thought she was full of shit, and now look what you what you are. Not just what you think and believe. Look what you are.
I know. I think it's crazy because even back then, I know I'd seen, you know, apparitions and etc. But when I was watching it, I'm like, okay, like, how is she communicating with them? Because I could never communicate. I didn't have my pineal gland opened up. So when you open up your pineal gland, that opens you up straight to the 5D, your soul. Okay. And your soul is what is communicating with these other souls. So that's why I can hear them speaking to me, because I'm also my soul. You know what I'm saying? So my soul is able to utilize my body in the way that it's able to for me aligning my chakras.
Don't get scared. There you go.
I was like, okay.
Nah, for real, that was rant. Look, don't bring that shit up in here, because that light is on a charger to where it shouldn't even die or nothing.
I just feel like that's confirmation right there.
Do not bring that shit in here.
Look, I just think that.
Y'all, hold on, Paul. I'm glad we on live. Y'all, and she can bear witness, y'all can't see these lights. Before these lights came on, they were plugged into power, right? Am I lying? I plugged the power cord.
It is plugged in. I mean, that's why I looked shocked. But I mean, I see things as signs and synchronicities and communication from my angels and ancestors. So I just feel like that validates whoever is here watching this. You probably needed to see this, and you needed proof that whatever was connecting with you was what you needed to hear. So maybe this is a sign that you'll see later on after this video to confirm that maybe you do need to go out and do the things that you need to do, or follow your soul's mission. Because I mean, I allow my angels and ancestors to communicate with me through technology. Because you can do that.
and this is technology, and it just happened. Right?
Yeah, and you can do that. So I see a lot of numbers, and then, like, of course, with TikTok and Facebook and stuff, I have a lot of messages come across, and sometimes they drive me crazy, and I have to put my phone down for a little bit. But I'll be on TikTok, and I'll have TikToks come across just telling me these signs and synchronicities, and if this happens to you, this video is probably meant for you. And then I'll go throughout my day. And this is where memory is very important, all right? Because if you don't have good memory, you're going to be very confused. So I've bought a few books on memory. And I've been utilizing what I've learned. So I'm more conscious in my day-to-day life in the decisions of what are going on. So, like, if I see a certain type of bird or whatever, because, okay, have you ever looked at something in that exact moment and saw exactly what you needed to see? If you would have looked any other moment, you would have missed it.
What do you mean?
Like a bird that swoops through real quick in a spot.
Yeah.
Like, you look specifically at one spot, and a bird just comes and lands right where you had just looked.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have stuff happens like that to me all the time. I mean, even people's license plate number will come across saying 444, 555, 222, 1111. And I'm like, all right, I must be in the right direction.
Right.
I'm going in the right direction. And I'm still learning to.
Man, this shit is crazy. I've never experienced this before with this, y'all. Like, for real. Like,
I feel your energy too. You're like, what's going on?
Cause I ain't never, like, if I had this problem before, I would have been like, okay, but like, it ain't never been doing like this before.
The energy's going ham right now.
Boy, it's doing something, and boy, say that's crazy. Like, I'm trying to focus and keep talking to you, but I'm
trying to figure out what's going on with the light.
Man, say, cause we got full power on everything. That's crazy.
I know. I know you wasn't slacking on my podcast.
I don't slack on nothing I do. I'm passionate about what I do. I be going in.
I like the quality of the video.
Thank you. I appreciate that, for real. Now let me ask you this: does your spirituality and being a medium and being in tune with your spirit, does that help you in life, for as relationship, for as choosing jobs, for as making goals and accomplishing goals, for as ideas, people you're around?
Yes, if I pay attention to it. So when you're not aware of certain things, or you can't see or recognize specific things, you kind of be in relationships that you shouldn't be in, or maybe even there's like differences that you didn't recognize. You just knew that maybe you weren't getting along with this family member, or they were subliminally sending you weird energy, and I had maintained relationships because I felt like that was something I was meant to do. And now that I've developed my spirituality and been honest and open to people about it, the people who were manipulating me weren't benefiting from that. So one by one, they drop like flies, okay? And, a lot of people will try to manipulate you off of their mental illness and try to like swap who you are with them. And I dealt with that, and I had to fight through that and understand that I'm not crazy. I finally figured out everything. It makes more sense to me than it ever has. And here's someone telling me, no, you're wrong.
Now I understand. I feel you. Y'all don't see me on the camera, but I'm back here like, boy, I'm shaking my head. Say, imagine somebody telling you, like, fuck even telling you. Imagine feeling like, am I crazy? I'm tripping. This can't be that. That can't be this just to find out. Boom.
It wasn't
mind
that.
blown.
And the state of confusion, people try to. I'm over that. Now.
Yeah, I'm over there too. I gotta be because this is brand new to me. Like,
I'm like, I don't even know.
Say,
but
for real,
it was a distraction. That state of confusion is straight up a distraction because that's keeping you from having these other thoughts that are going to lead you in the right direction because it's based off of your intuition. Because, okay, so our hair it feels, you feel the wind through your hair. Okay, so it's antennas and frequency, and that's why we get our hairs pick up and stuff, even when you're dealing with paranormal, because you feel that frequency and energy, and your hair is receptors to it. So when we're all feeling and noticing each other, we're covered in hair. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where if you're not educated on the science of this either, of course it's going to go way over your head, and you're going to gaslight other people because that's not your reality, and you don't want to accept that someone else's truth is their truth. Or maybe, one of my sisters told me, she's like, I'm happy for you and your spirituality, but I have to believe in the Bible. I have to believe in God, or I don't have a reason to live. And, I'm like, of course, that's fine. That's your understanding. That's your purpose. That's what you were meant to do in this life. It's completely different than me. Thanks for understanding me. And, like, it's not that I don't believe that there's a higher power or God. I just believe that the universe and us and everything coinciding in, and even this couch is emitting a frequency for us to be able to see it. It's an illusion. Okay? We just know for a fact that it's there. And this has all been scientifically proven. So I've tapped more into science and actually knowing things about the human body. And even when you're aligning your chakras, you could have your sacral chakra misaligned and you're more angry, or your stomach's hurting. Like, there's just different things that happen when your chakras are misaligned, and it all has to do with frequency. That's why when people meditate, they meditate to frequencies. Like, you can heal yourself through frequencies. I've done it. I've had a cold and listened to a frequency to heal my body overnight, and I woke up in the morning, I was fine. Because I practice what I preach. Okay. And so it's just one of those things that, you could go on forever about it, because it's different for everyone. Everyone is individual.
Everyone. I got you. Now, how have it helped you in the relationship world?
It's helped me love myself more, to where I wasn't putting myself in positions of illusion. When you're stuck in the same illusion as a person, you get along, and it is what it is, whether they're manipulating you or whatever. Because we get in relationships to benefit off of one another. That's just what it is. It's to build or to destroy. And we can have connections, and the connection is one of the things that predominantly bring you to be in a relationship with someone. But also in a spiritual aspect, it's a soul and a soul. You know what I'm saying? Connecting and interacting, and that's where that intuition comes in, because when you're connecting with someone, specifically in romantic relationships, it's separated me mentally, because I was more on the materialistic side of things. Not that I'm materialistic and I need you for this and that. It was the physical, every day, me, my clothing, my life, my bills, just everyday life. And so I was more focused on how that was working until and something was just not right. Nothing was. I had been with my ex for a long time, and we have really good moments, but there's times that we just weren't getting along, because the difference in our frequency, if he was doing right, there still was a distance, because I've been working on myself longer. And so when he chose to act any down. His down was way lower than any of my downs. His high couldn't touch my down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just where you start splitting apart from people because their perspective, you can live with somebody and have a completely different perspective on life on a day-to-day basis, but that's also based off of what people are focused on or what they want to gain out of their relationship with you. And a lot of people don't want to be open about that, you know, like, yeah, I may love you, we have our differences, but I made more money with you than I have with anybody else.
Right.
So that's really the only reason why I'm trying to work it out. It's not because I respect you or, you know, it's because
that's deep.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I mean, and that's personal, you know what I'm saying? That's personal because, you know, I like I said, I'm not materialistic. I was happy, I was making good money too, but you know, I wanted more love and affection and, you know, to actually sit there and get to know one another. And then, you know, when people are very dense and they don't know themselves and you want to unlock every crevice of yourself and they're scared to do it, you know, that also changes things too.
Facts.
I had lost a lot of friendships before my pregnancy, and that was like one of my biggest spiritual awakenings because you can go through multiple. And, you know, I had went through a dark night of the soul and realized that, you know, how I want my son's life to be is fully on me, no matter of how much I want anyone else to be there because he's mine, regardless. No matter what. Like, yes, his father is his father, but I'm the one to make sure that he's taken care of because that's just how it is.
Thanks.
And, you know, my son came to me in a dream before I even conceived him. And I named him months and months and months before the dream. Like, it was just me and my ex had experienced an angel coming and visiting us. So I feel like my womb was blessed at that time to conceive my son. So yeah, I've seen an angel, you know, and it's crazy because when they say do not fear, okay, you ain't moving nowhere. I don't know what, none of us could move. None of us could walk towards it. We stood there. I thought that that I was going to look down and our bodies just be on the ground. Because I thought it was coming to take our soul. Yeah.
Thought it was over.
So what happened, and I know this sounds crazy, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to talk about it because it's also interesting.
Right.
Pitch black, okay. We're sitting there. Yeah, we were smoking some weed. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. We sitting outside smoking a blunt, right? And all of a sudden this, like, we're looking in the sky, looking in the stars, whatever, and there's this cloud that like turns from a cloud into like a portal. Like it starts spin, but it's sideways like this. A cloud, like normal cloud, just goes like this, right? And I'm like, what is that? And he's like, I don't know, but I'm looking at it too. And I'm like, okay, how are we looking up in the sky and just seeing this shit? There's a lot of sky. Okay, so how are we both fixated on this thing, right? So I'm sitting up watching this shit and I'm like, okay. And then it was weird. It was like the cloud itself morphed into like a person stepping out of it, but it was still connected to it. It was still formed to the portal. And I was like, what the fuck?
Nah,
okay.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Still not moving. We ain't moving. Can't even think to move a muscle. You know what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, and it's weird. It's kind of like watching Iron Man in the sky. It was weird, like the way it was levitating. So it stepped out and turned at us. And it's like walking towards us, but coming down closer. Like Iron Man in a suit.
Like
type,
walking out the sky.
A glow emitting from it. And pitch black dark, a glow like the sun, bright as the sun.
What the fuck?
Yes, so it walks down to us and it all of a sudden just dissipates to nothing. it dissipates, and then the clouds usually go away. It disappeared, and I just forever was like, what was that? Like, what was that? And so I looked up about angels, and I'm like, 100%, that was an angel, but to glow like the sun at pitch black. I think it was like 12:30 at night, and so, you know, I've experienced a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah, you have. And before we get up out there, cause we getting up on that time, but I got something I want to talk to you about and ask you about that you told me about. You said it's okay to talk about. We might have to do a part 2 of you for shit show. For sure. Cause like, goddamn, what the fuck? Like, for real.
I know, and I just, sometimes I'm like, why do I have to go through this?
Nah, for real. But you was telling me about how you and your husband called a predator.
Yes. So it actually went viral on Facebook, and he got to initially go on the news for it. I'm a little annoyed with it, but you know, I initially did it because I felt like it was the right thing to do. But he had baited this guy to come to Walmart, and this is in Wichita Falls, Texas, the Lawrence Road Walmart. We waited about an hour for him to show up, and we're like, damn, is he gonna show up? Like, is this really gonna happen? We're on edge, okay? And I recorded the whole thing. We're talking, conversating, and I mean, he even went up and asked the people up there if they had seen him, and he showed this one guy like what he was saying, and he was like, man, what the, you know what I'm saying? Like,
straight
what
curve.
the hell? Like, let me know, let me see this motherfucker. And like, you know, so we're waiting to confront him, and he walks up, and he's a tall, lanky white guy. His name's Dakota Lowry, if anyone would like to know. Because it's
Dakota
just for
Lowry.
Yeah.
Dakota Lowry. Anybody know Dakota Lowry?
Yes.
Be on the lookout for him. Wichita Falls.
Yes. I think he ended up deleting his Facebook, but it's so crazy because a lot of shit went on because of that. So we had done it. The next night, he decided to like post it, but initially when he confronted him, he said that someone had hacked his phone, and he was like, well, show us. And so I bring the camera up. I'm gonna record your phone. All right. And he was like, you know what, and takes off running. So my ex-husband starts running after him, and I call the police. I stop recording. I call the police. The police come up there, but he had backed up because he was recording too.
Oh,
so yeah. So the guy had backed up into the spot, ready to run and leave. Okay, so he already knew what he was doing was fucked up, and
he knew he was busted.
Yes, because he thought he was talking to a 16-year-old boy, and the things he said were disgusting. I really didn't take much part in the baiting him, but yeah, so he drove off. He almost ran over a lady in the parking lot.
Jeez.
And I get it. People are going to comment and be like, oh, well, you just called the cops before. He wouldn't have came inside.
Right.
He wouldn't have incriminated himself to the point that he could go to
Had
prison.
to get him all the way in.
You got to do it the right way, man. And
it ain't what you know, it's what you can prove in court.
Exactly. And so the police came up there. He gave them all of the documentation, and then he actually repainted the color of his truck that night with spray paint. Was trying to run away type shit. And
what the hell?
The Wichita Falls Police Department ended up getting a warrant to search his home. They have yet to arrest him yet, but I'm not sure what else is connected to him and who else. So
they gonna find something on him.
Yeah.
He's straight perv mode for real.
I mean, if they ain't locked him up yet because it was something little, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure they found way more going on.
Now, question. Last question of the night. Was it your idea, his idea? What made y'all, whoever idea was, to be like, it's a good idea because these motherfuckers need to be removed from the face of this earth. But what made y'all be like, we finna be How to Catch a Predator today? You know what I'm saying?
So he watches Gideon and I cannot remember the other dude. I cannot remember his name.
These content creators or who are these
they're
people?
on YouTube and they catch predators.
Okay,
So
I think I know you talking about. They do this regularly.
Gideon and it starts with the S or something. I cannot remember the other dude's name. And because Gideon used to make other stuff and he had millions of followers, but he deleted all his other stuff. He like converted Christian or whatever. And just changed his whole vibe. But he's been doing that, and so he would watch it all the time. He would watch the shit, and I was just like, I don't know, it's your hobby, whatever. You run out of things to watch. I watch murder documentaries, so whatever. You know what I'm saying? And he came up to me one day and asked me if I would help him do it. And so that night it got done. Okay, you know what I'm saying? That night.
So y'all did this as soon as he brought it to you. Y'all was on it.
Oh yeah, definitely, because I supported it. I thought it was the right thing. to do.
Get rid of this.
I thought it was the right thing to do. I'm
Expose these motherfuckers for real. Come on.
Because I mean, I myself have went through. You know, I mean, every 2 out of 3 women have had some type of something like that happen to them. So like, I'm a part of that people, and you know, I wanted to expose this motherfucker.
And that shit low key too normal for real, like.
Yeah, because I mean, I know people within families that, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like this one other dude in town, actually that's related to my ex-husband's father, his wife, brother-in-law just had the FBI raid his shit because he had children stuff on his shit. So it's hitting a lot closer in home, but I'm glad. Let's fucking destroy this shit. Let's get it done with, because y'all need to be eliminated.
Nah, for real.
Hiding under rocks too fucking long. You know what I'm saying? So. And
I don't even know what happened to that show. Is that show How to Catch a Predator still out? Is that still like a show?
I don't think it's still going on. I don't think it is.
They used to come on regular Wednesday. How to Catch a Motherfucking Predator.
It's crazy. I mean, we didn't have like any live bait or anything, because they use live bait on Gideon. They get you know, grown people that are of age that look younger, and they'll have them meet them and shit.
He have a book with the evidence and everything.
Oh yeah, and they hand it and
right over to the police.
We have that too.
It's crazy.
We printed out the whole conversation and handed it over to the police, because he presented him with what he was doing, and he said, "Oh, somebody hacked my phone." It's crazy. You'll have to go watch it, because
no, that's what I'm about to say. Send me the video as soon as it's done so I can see it, please. For real. Man, say this is Kicking It with King, but before we go, tell the people what you want to tell the people. Tell them how to follow you. Tell them whatever you want them to know. Tell them how to access your business and your services and whatever it is you provide, so you can, you know what I'm saying, connect with the people.
Okay, so people, I am on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. I don't currently have a website. I typically get more out of not having a website, but I have to use my email as well. So on Facebook, you can find me at Get Woke Intuitive Teachings by Jonáe Killian. You can also find my personal page. I'm tagged in this, I believe, Jonáe Domeneke. So it is an entrepreneur page. You can follow me, message me with whatever questions you like. And so I also, my other business, NAE Cosmetics. So you can look me up on Facebook, and then I'm also NAE Cosmetics on TikTok. So I post a lot of inspirational messages and tarot readings on my social medias, and help blow me up, help me blow up, you know what I'm saying? Because I really help a lot of people, and I think that if you've stayed to watch this, or you do come across this, that I'm somebody you need in your life. You know what I'm saying? I can help you out with beauty and within and without. You know?
Nah, for real. That's dope. That's dope. Now, you said you on TikTok and you shop on. That mean you got a TikTok shop?
Yeah.
Okay, shout out to you.
TikTok shop.
I don't think I know nobody that actually got a TikTok shop.
It's
but
hard.
Now I do though.
2 weeks.
2 weeks to set it up?
It took me 2 weeks to get approved.
Oh, you got to get approved?
Yeah, you gotta have.
That's why I don't know nobody that got a TikTok shop.
You gotta have a tax ID.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you
man.
gotta have your real business stuff. You gotta at least have a LLC or a DBA, and you also have to have your IRS information, your tax ID.
Y'all better come correct. Y'all want to be on y'all business shit, man. But this has been season 3, episode 2 of Kicking It with King, man. And I appreciate you for coming through and blessing the platform for me, for real.
Oh, I thank
Much
you.
love.
I thank you.
And I'll come on back whenever you're ready.
The shooter, shooting shit the right way.
They didn't want me up, but I got up and nashed up. They didn't want to see me win, but I won and now they fuck. They hate and envy me, but I'm at that shit like what's up. I don't want no smoke, but I still keep it tough. Yeah, they didn't want me up, but I got up and nashed up. They didn't want to see me win.